Hello and welcome to the Archie Luxury channel. Today I want to continue the series Legends by looking at another wristwatch legend, and it's the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak series. And probably the most famous model in the Royal Oak empire is the Jumbo. And the Jumbo was a very classic piece because you've got to look at the times that the Royal Oak was released. It was released in 1972, and it was a time when traditional high-quality wristwatches were made out of gold, and Audemars really pioneered the steel luxury watch, and that's just a fabulous thing. The AP Jumbo itself there is a classic in steel, and it's for the time it was also quite a large watch, although now you'd say, well, comparing it to say a Royal Oak offshore chronograph, you'd certainly say it's not that huge at all. But for the time in the 70s there, where ultra thin, ultra slim was all the rage, it certainly changed the way people thought about luxury watches. And the Royal Oak empire itself there is something which has really shaped the roots of AP. And as soon as you say Audemars Piguet now, everyone says Royal Oak, and often now it's offshore chronograph. But people forget the 70s. Before the 70s, AP didn't have the Royal Oak. It was a more traditional sort of a Patek Philippe, where it didn't. But in Patek's case, they had the Calatrava since the 30s, whereas AP didn't have a signature model that it does today, which is the Royal Oak. And the Royal Oak has really changed the way that AP has run, and it's been a fantastic piece. The Royal Oak is really what saved AP through that horrible quartz phase, and it's made it one of the strong players. And you should never forget, Audemars Piguet is a Holy Trinity member. The Holy Trinity comprising of AP, Patek Philippe, and Vacher and Constantine. So it's certainly a very, very one of the finest brands that is in the marketplace. And with the Royal Oak itself, the Jumbo is probably one of the most lusted after models there, because it's a steel watch. It's a watch that is oversized for its time, and it's just such a classic. It's just such a gorgeous piece. And whereas Rolex always had tool watches, the AP added a bit of Rolls-Royce luxury to that segment, because AP certainly is a lot finer quality than Rolex. Not to put Rolex down, of course, but just to put it in its place. And the beautiful thing with the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak line is that the Jumbo also evolved into many different watches which were based on that size dimension, and they had the AP annual calendar and also chronograph, and these are really quite extraordinary pieces from AP. And these are all pieces which have come to fruition from the original, the success of the original Royal Oak Jumbo, which is really where it all stems from. And it's kind of funny, in its time there, the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak did come in a number of sizes, and again, just like with Patek, who has changed its models to be bigger, Audemars Piguet has also followed consumer demand. And the AP Royal Oak was also offered in quartz, which today as a collector you'd say, oh, why quartz is such a big no-no. But in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, quartz was considered a very good source to have a luxury watch, and it's just how the times have changed. But AP has always been very, very good at following the trends and going in the right direction. And in many ways, the Royal Oak offshore chronograph series, the oversized pieces, are they wouldn't exist today if it wasn't for the Royal Oak. And that certainly needs to be noted. As a collector and a purist myself, there I must say I find it hard to be attracted to the oversized, the offshore chronograph series. I'd much prefer the classic Royal Oak, and that's the size and the styling that I much prefer. But each to their own there, and it can't be said that the Royal Oak series itself there is what has, in modern times, it's defied what AP is. And if it wasn't for the Royal Oak, who knows if Audemars Piguet would have survived. And this is the whole thing. It's been such a refreshing piece. And there are a lot of good watches in the Audemars Piguet range which are not Royal Oaks. But without the success of the Royal Oak, those pieces there wouldn't have had development costs and money to explore those lines. So AP really does owe the Royal Oak a lot of things, and you can see why the Royal Oak is such a legend. And I hope you've enjoyed this look at here, the Royal Oak legend, and please stay tuned for more episodes. Thank you very much.